The Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service has described as baseless and unsubstantiated allegations of thievery and corruption leveled against two deputy chiefs of staff by musician Kwame Asariobing, known to many as A+. The police CID has, as a result, cleared the two, Abu Jinapo and Francis Asensobwache, of any wrongdoing. Kwame A+, on August 24 in a Facebook post, made allegations of corruption and thievery against the two government officials. He justified his stance when he also appeared on the Joy Super Morning Show. He was subsequently invited by the police CID to assist with investigations, but a statement released by the police say the musicians could not substantiate his claim. The statement issued and signed by the Director General of the Police CID, Bright Oduro, said the allegations of thievery was dropped by A+, but that of corruption was maintained. When probed further on the issue of corruption, A+ cited, according to the statement, an intervention by the two chiefs of staff on a matter involving the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. According to him, following a petition by Unibank Ghana Limited to the effect that the management of Kolebu had abrogated an existing MOU with them without any reason, and that the Kolebu Teaching Hospital had not treated them fairly, the two Flagstaff House officials, among others, intervened to seek clarity from the hospital's management regarding the petition. But the police CID said after weeks of investigations, it did not find the intervention by the two as illegal or inconsistent with the laws of the country, stating the allegation of corruption was found to be baseless, unsubstantiated, and without credibility. We'll have to turn our attention to some educational stories. And some parents of the Presbyterian Junior School in Tamale in the northern region have petitioned the West African Examination Council on the cancellation of the mathematics paper of the awards at the 2017 Basic Education Certificate Examination, the BCE. The parent who petitioned WAEC through the Ghana Education Service threatened to go to court if the matter was not resolved amicably. The 21 aggrieved students who had their paper cancelled were among some 28 who sat for the examination at the center. Northern Regional Correspondent Martina Bugri has come through with this report.
According to a guardian, Avala Philemon, the results were released, but the mass was withheld. It was later cancelled. He said they had followed up to the Education Directorate to see how the matter can be addressed amicably. He, however, threatened that they will seek legal redress if the matter is not resolved.
They are alleging or claiming that they copied in the objective test. People of God, we should ask everybody here 1 + 1. Everybody will say 2. So if we should write an exam right now about 1 + 1, and we all write 2, I don't think it would be right to say that because our answers are same, we copy. See, so it actually baffles our mind, and we want to believe that we've not been treated fairly. And so we want our voices to be heard so that the appropriate processes will take action. And our last bullet is to resort to legal actions, where we'll do all we can to get a competent lawyer to plead our case at the court of law, because that is the last bullet we have.
Elijah Bruce, one of the students, said he was depressed and his parents were disappointed in him. He said even though he never cheated in the exams, he was suffering for something he did not do.
It's really depressing because you see your mates preparing for senior high school and you are just in the house sitting, you feel useless, and sometimes you feel really disappointed. Your parents feel disappointed in you. It's like sometimes it's your fault, but it's not actually our fault, because they see our colleagues going and we are sitting. It's like we didn't write the exam, we didn't struggle, so it's really disappointing and frustrating.
Another student, Opata Kolibila Emilia, who scored a grade 7 without the maths included, questioned how a class of 28, some will be taught in an objective paper, leaving others.
We are very sad because most of our colleagues are in school, some of our mates, our classmates, the same people that who sat in the same classmates, they are all in school and we are still here. We haven't even gotten our results, talk less of placement. So we are very sad and disappointed. I'm saying we are disappointed because we are saying we copied, and in our class we are from the same school, we all sat in the same class, then we all wrote, and then they are saying we copied, but then 9 people had schools, then the rest of us, they didn't give us schools. So if they are saying we copied, then that means those who are in schools, they've copied. So we don't understand why they are doing that.
Well, headmaster of the Canton Senior High School, Raymond Venu Baku, has revealed that new students who normally delayed in reporting to school are coming in droves because of the free SHS policy. Raymond Venu Baku says the introduction of the free SHS policy is a good one and called on parents and students to take advantage of the policy. JoyNews Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafik Salam now reports from Tumu in the Sisala East District.
Canton Senior High School is one of the oldest senior high schools in the Upper West region. It is one of the public senior high schools in the country that is benefiting from the government flagship policy program, Free Senior High School Education. 472 students were placed in the school by the computerized placement system. After a week of opening its doors to the freshers, 406 of them have so far reported. They first registered at the school and have their prospectus checked. Some of them had their clothes seized because they didn't want to encourage improper dressing at the school.
We don't entertain mufti here. Very smallish. What is your class? This is like even bigger. Where do you see that? What is your insurance?
The school. Two of the students who hail from the Upper East region expressed joy for being part of the free HHS policy of the government.
When I came, I thought that we were the only people, and then I wouldn't know where to go to, how you come, what you do and what you don't do. So I was bored by that time. When I went around, I've seen that I can do more. The school is very nice, and then everything here is also okay.
I have the opportunity to go to school for free. So I'm excited. Even my parents do not have money to pay for me. But now that they said it's free, I'm excited. Yeah.
An electrician by profession, but who wants to be described as a taxi driver, Matt Mkemal accompanied his child to the school. He was full of praise to the government for the new policy, which he said will help people who are from a poor background to have access to education.
The first day I came, I went to the administration and then went through the list, saw my son's name over there. And then when I presented my papers, the rest was smooth sailing. It didn't even take up to 2 minutes. Of course, I'm a very happy man. Even as I stand here, I can say that yes, I've enrolled my son free of charge at the Canton Senior High School. My economic situation is so bad because, of course, I'm not able to make ends meet nowadays because my vehicle, which I'm using, is a bit run down, and the work is even very bad. So, but for this free SHS, I would have been in troubled waters.
Headmaster of Canton Senior High School, Raymond Venu Baku, noted that with the implementation of the free HSS policy by the government, students will have no excuse for late reporting once they are admitted.
Because last year, when we started admission, you wouldn't get, they were trickling like Hamatan rain. This time around, today alone, they came in droves. And I think it's a very good, sincerely to me, I don't know, you're not asked that, but I think it's good. The students are very eager, and they are coming. Unlike last year where some of them had to go for a bad day before they come and pay fees. This time around, it's not like that. We're not collecting anything.
Government promised paying you 20% of the...
It has hit our bank. No problem about that. We have that. I hope you not tell me to tell you the amount that is there.
How much have you been giving?
Oh, it's money. Good money. I think that one is enough for the press.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam, Tumu.
We have to come down south, and authorities of the Tema Metropolitan Assembly are warning of an imminent disaster at the kpone landfill site due to what they call a poor management of the facility. The site was constructed with funding from the World Bank and handed over to the TMA to manage. The Assembly says though its waste department has the capacity to manage the facility, it has since been ordered to hand it over to a company, Waste Landfills Limited, a subsidiary of the Jospon Group. As part of the Robbing the Assemblies investigative series, Manasseh Azure Awone explains how the TMA is stuck with this waste management company, though it is failing to do its end of the bargain.
It is a busy day at the Kumasi landfill site located at Poti in the Kumasi metropolis. Refuse trucks of different sizes and shapes, as well as tricycles, are seen climbing what has become a mountain after years of dumping, compacting and covering. Pastor Michael Morris-Nyako is the manager of the Kumasi landfill site.
This is the tipping phase of the landfill. This is where we work daily. You see most of the machines at work. The dozer is pushing all that the tricycles have brought in. The roll-off and the skip trucks are all coming in with the compactors. And so this is where the operations goes on. So we call it the working phase of the landfill. So you can also see other tipper trucks with latrats. We call it covering material. So we are creating access road and at the same time covering. And so the ideal is it should be daily covering so that there will not be flies, rodents, insect vermins to have access to the actual waste that we dump here. And it also prevents odor. You could see you've been here for some time now, but the place doesn't smell as such because of the covering that you see going on.
The Kumasi landfill site is managed by J. Stanley Owusu, one of the pioneer waste management companies in Ghana. A greater part of the landfill has been covered with laterites. Walking or driving along this covered stretch, it is difficult to tell it is a refuse dump site. The situation at the Kumasi landfill site sharply contradicts what happens at the Pong landfill site near Tema. This is managed by Waste Landfills Limited, a sister company of Zoom Lion. The refuse dumped here is not compacted or covered. Apart from 2 machines pushing the refuse to make way for dumping, nothing else is done here. The TMA supervisor at the Pong landfill site, Ernest Nlasen Njawan, tells JoyNews standard practices are not followed in the management of the landfill here.
I wouldn't qualify as at now as near landfill site. The reason is simply that per the design and how we go by it, when we don't go daily pushing compaction followed by daily capping, but all these things have failed on the part of the contractor because we don't do the daily capping, and they have their reasons as to why they don't do. But what I know is that it's not done, and it should have been done every day, no matter the volume of the waste that comes here. They should have tried to do it. The leachate is now dripping all around, contaminating the environment, and also there are no screens to take care of the flying material. So all these things have combined to disqualify the site being an near landfill site.
At the time of our visit, access to the dump site was choked and refuse trucks and tricycles spent hours queuing to empty their contents. Dark liquid from the dump site, which officials say is toxic, could be seen flowing into surrounding water bodies and the nearby communities. The Tema Metropolitan Director of Waste Management, Solomon Noy, tells JoyNews management of the landfill site after it was ordered to hand over to the Jospon company leaves much to be desired.
The landfill is getting full due to accumulation of leachate and then inability to do effective compaction. You know, every time you dump the waste at the landfill site, there must be bulldozers on site to compact the waste, and then you do what? Use material to cover it so that there will not be pollution of the environment. But this is not done. That is why I said the landfill is not being managed as expected. And
we have so many types. We have what I've described, the central engineer landfill, where we have serious equipment there. The driver goes there, there's a working phase, he's directed to tip. The bulldozer or transcavator pushes and spreads. Then the compactor compacts, run on it severally to make it compact, to create more space for further dumping.
On daily basis?
On daily basis. Good. Before, if you are doing proper this thing, like I said, then you cover with laterite. Then we have what we call control tipping. You could construct a landfill, but if you don't follow the processes I've described, and you have the equipment there, it only comes and you push. That's what we call control tipping. You are controlling what they are tipping there, just pushing to make space for further dumping. But you are not compacting, you are not covering, you are not safeguarding anything.
Assemblies across the country have told JoyNews they are overburdened with dirt after being made to sign dump site management contract with Waste Landfills Limited, even though some of them do not need such services.
Our current setup as Waste Management Department for the Tema Metropolitan Assembly is well positioned and is in the position with the right caliber of personnel to manage the landfill site. Because the landfill site was not just put up by the World Bank and left. It came along with other logistics by way of equipment and others. As we speak, because it has been franchised to this company, all the logistics are left to rot.
The poor verdict on the company's performance by the TMA raises questions why this company was solely handpicked for a nationwide contract. For JoyNews, Manasseh Azore Arena reporting.
Meanwhile, a lawyer for the Jospon Group has suspended notice of discontinuation of an injunction application at the court. This, according to So Achawe, is because there have been some recent developments that warrant they put their notice to withdraw their injunction application on hold, despite the fact that he has not served Manasseh Azure Awene, his lawyer, or the court. Lawyers for the Jospon Group of companies last month filed an application for injunction to stop the ministries and other departments of government from giving Manasseh and the multimedia group any information on its contract. The matter has since been adjourned to October 18.
Ships as well as tricycles.
In other stories, private lotto operators known to many as banker to banker are asking government to sack the Director General of the National Lottery Authority for his failure to regularize their operations. The operators, who say they number about 2,000, believe Kofi Osei-Ameyaw is failing to appreciate their contribution to the economy and has rather chosen to establish special courts to prosecute them for operating illegally. In Shirai FM, Nanas and Sumensa has the rest of the story.
If you take Ameyaw, Osei-Ameyaw himself admit in Accra, I think to Good Business, a newspaper, that even 85% of their own accredited agents are doing banker to banker. Do you know why? Because the banker to banker people are paying a commission of 30 to 35%. They don't pay 5% withholding tax. But you, the government, you are paying 20% commission. You also deduct 2.5% from it, and a day you give them 17.5% as a commission. And when somebody also wins, you deduct 5% withholding tax. And one funny thing is, even as you speak, if you can't NLA Lotto kiosks across the nation, it will not even reach 5,000. It will not even reach 5,000. You have inefficiency. So the best thing Ameyaw could have done was, how best can we make sure that the National Lottery has become visible across all the 216 districts? Look at their regional office at Patasi. Consider the number of monies they are receiving, and look at the state of their office. According to Section 32 of the National Lotto Act, it's tied to the Consolidated Fund. So if they receive profit, they pay into the Consolidated Fund. If there's losses, they get money from the Consolidated Fund to offset it. Why are you using our taxpayer money to trade game of chance? Because Ghana here is not everybody that even believe in lottery because of our religious backgrounds and all that. So why is the I have to pay taxes? Government use my taxpayer money, now they are caught to chacha. Because it's not about revenue mobilization. See, the government also have to pay back the money. So there's a scheme up there. The government should authorize the operation of the banker-to-banker lottery under the supervision and regulation by the district assemblies and NLA, awaiting the amendment to the National Lotto Act. The reason why we are saying is that now you enacted law to make it illegal. 10 years they are still doing it. And you also is not able to even enforce your own law. So in the interim, you can go back to the PND's law 223, whereby they were working with the district assemblies, and make sure that the district assemblies will have an oversight responsibility with them, because they know where they are, so that they can pay taxes to the government. You have made it illegal. That's why they are doing it in secrecy. That's why I can't go after them for taxes. But when you take away the illegality, all of them will be forced to pay their taxes. The parliament has seen the wisdom in it that you cannot monopolize a business. Maybe in 2006 it was an oversight, but this time is an opportunity to correct the errors of the past. You have to create the enabling environment, and that's what government is doing now. So all those directives that Mayor is giving, it will not hold water. And we are also going to petition the president, but even by 31st December, he should sack him because he doesn't know what he's doing.
And that's it for the latest news update. We have a lot more news. We'll be looking at the newspapers. We'll look at stories on the online portals.